Hello, welcome to the Hat on Head News Cabin. It is April 10th, Friday, April 10th, 2020, here in the full swing of the pandemic. Going to give you the Worldometers numbers as I always do. Bring you a story just about Andrew Cuomo. Democrats want him to replace Joe Biden as the nominee. Is that possible? It seems like anything is really possible with the Democratic campaign we saw in 2016. They kind of just put Hillary in there last minute. So will they do that with Andrew Cuomo? That's what this article is about. And then we have a heat map from the New York Times that we'll look at. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm just making these videos to get my skills a little better with video editing and provide you some good information. This is a crazy time right now, a lot of changes. And yeah, hope you like my little news outlet here, Hat on Head News. All right, we're going to go to the numbers. So we always look here because these graphs are pretty great the way that they're presented, and the one that we'll go to always is, I think, the daily deaths tells the most about what's going on. And we see here April 9th, yesterday, went back up. So there was a period of time, March 30th, 31st, where we really thought this curve was going to shoot straight up, and at that point we had these numbers looking at 100,000 to 2 million deaths. And now it was yesterday, Dr. Fauci's new estimate is 60,000 deaths. So that's because it looks like we're going to be able to slow and flatten things down. Now the thing is, when you look at these changes through each day, it's quite possible these changes are due to us, not making the right decisions and choices with social distancing, and that's what's got everyone, just worried about what's going on, because when people aren't doing the right thing, that it is costing lives, and it's just a really tough time because of that simple fact of, like, we all have to kind of do these really challenging choices of what then other people see as, well, how is this challenging? You just have to sit there and do nothing, right? So anyways, that's what we're dealing here with over the past 10 days. So April 9th, 7,233. It's gone back up a little bit. And this here is useful to see. So that's total deaths worldwide. Now, for analyzing kind of the different countries, it's hard because, yes, the countries that are not on here that I would like to be on here would be South Korea, Taiwan, but the thing is, I think that those countries, their curve is just completely non-existent because they were really able to stop the spread. And it seems like our inability, in all these Western countries, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, United States, that have these really steep curves, we were just not able to change our habits. And even though we're kind of at this point happy with our ability to stop it somewhat, it's this question of how bad would it have been and how much could we have stopped it, right? And we really don't know, but that's what we're going to be looking into with the data, right? So the difference between here, the US's curve, which is just straight up, and then the other part of that, again, it's this availability of testing, complete transparency. We know that with Germany these numbers aren't accurate at all. So it's like we're trying to figure out things with data that's not accurate. So all right, now we're going to take a look at some American politics. Actually, no. First, let's go to this heat map here. The epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak in the U.S. is in New York, particularly concentrated in New York City and its surrounding areas. As of Friday afternoon, 7,000 people had died, while Governor Andrew Cuomo has said there are early indications that the number of cases are plateauing. He has extended an executive order to keep non-essential businesses, including schools, closed. So this map is just, obviously, this is where New York City is. All right. And the reason why this here article, is very important, I mean, it's just what they're talking about, is that this election coming up in November could be the coronavirus presidential election. And I've been critical of the Trump's presidential response, but there are people that are very happy with his response, and I would say that the people most responsible for kind of not sounding the alarm bells early, I don't think is the president. I think that was more the WHO and the CDC and other organizations. I mean, the president he's obviously going to be business first and business forward, and he's going to take a little bit of convincing. So the question is, how much was Trump stopping the response, or how much was he listening to many experts who were, because the thing is, if Trump had, done any sort of draconian action which would have been necessary to stop this pandemic, he would have been seen as, this is the authoritarian president, President Trump's being crazy again, and he's doing, that's obviously what would have happened if he had done any sort of out of the ordinary drastic action. Even when he closed down the border with China, that was seen as, hey, you can't do that, So that's why I think that this election very much might be the coronavirus election, and what the Democrats it looks like they might do, at least let's read a little bit in this article, is switch out a viable candidate who has done well and has shown leadership, Andrew Cuomo, for Joe Biden, who no one thinks can win an election against Donald Trump. I mean, if I were to tell you right now, I think even Andrew Cuomo loses against Donald Trump, for some of the kind of reasons I mentioned about the fact that I don't think that Donald Trump's response to the coronavirus was that bad, even though I did rate him bad. And I mean, that's the thing about data and commentary. I'm giving you facts, and then my opinion changes. And also, I do think he had a bad response, because you have to have a unified response to this, and that's just not his thing was, I'll leave it up to the states, and that's really, I guess, a philosophical difference that a lot of people could just agree with Trump on, is that so those are some of the kind of different ways that this election is going to be framed, some of the different arguments that are going to be brought up. And I do absolutely think that this election coming up in November is going to be the coronavirus election. So the headline is, Democrats want to drop Joe Biden for Andrew Cuomo, poll finds. A majority of Democrats want to nominate New York Governor Andrew Cuomo for president instead of Joe Biden, according to poll results shared exclusively with the Post. The national poll found 56% of Democrats prefer Cuomo, with 44% wanting to stick with presumptive nominee Biden, a 12-point margin well outside the 4.8% margin of error for the Democratic sample. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the rest of the article pretty much just repeats that and just analyzes kind of going back and forth who might like it, but it doesn't really give any information of, is it possible? And that's something that, to me, it seems like the Democratic Party and the Democratic Convention and everything about what they're trying to do, they can kind of change it because they've done it before. And so if they see things like that 56% of people prefer Cuomo over Biden, and if you look at the people who don't prefer Biden, what that poll was asking is if you would prefer him to be switched out. But I think a lot of those people just don't think it's possible when the Democratic Party knows they can do whatever they want. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, regardless, that's what it looks like, is we're going to have either Trump against Biden or Trump against Cuomo. I mean, the Democrats would be smart to switch out Biden for Cuomo, because Biden is inept. I mean, he's just someone who you can tell is way too old to be on that stage, and he doesn't know what's going on. My grandparents passed away. They had a period of time where they were in that state, and I would not have want them to be the president of the United States. And also, to me, even though I liked Obama, I don't like Biden because he just feels like someone who was chosen as just a represent. He just feels like there's nothing there with him. I don't like his leadership style. I feel like that he just agrees when he's supposed to agree, and he just has these quips. I don't like his style of. There's a lot of things that I don't like about him. That being said, if you're gonna listen to Hat on Head, there's a lot of people that I don't like. Pretty much most all politicians, and that's the critical lens that you'll get here. So thanks for joining me. Subscribe to the channel and keep your hat on your head.